Well, guys, 2024 is here. The election is in 9 months. This is going to be the most insane election I think ever. But today in this video, I want to give just a pre-prediction as to what I think will happen, if anything, and as well as where the current state of the election is right now, and my opinions on it. So let's get into it. So as of right now, Biden is, according to the poll numbers, about 3, 4, even 5% lower than Trump. This is like panic mode. Okay, this is scary. Biden, according to almost every poll I've seen, is losing to Trump big time. Okay, and this is very bad for many reasons I'll get into soon. But now you might say, well, Mike, the polls are, just a poll. It's too early. Well, there was never a moment where Biden was losing this much in the amount of polls we see, coming out. Here's a poll that just came out last week. According to all voters, 45% of voters would vote for Donald Trump if the election happened today. Okay. That's not good. Okay. Typically what we've seen from these past elections is that Trump was always a few points below Biden. Biden was always a more popular. The Democrat was always a more popular candidate. Hillary Clinton was, and so was Biden these past few elections. But this is the first time we're really seeing Trump leading the polls. This is not normal, and this is not something to just shy away from. This is something we have to start facing, guys. Biden is not going to win, probably, according to today's polls. Okay. And if you look at the numbers here in the bottom, it says 2020 voters that voted for Biden, only 79% of them would vote for Biden again. Okay. 12% say somebody else. 9% say Trump, or they don't know. But relative to Trump's numbers, 90% of Trump voters would still vote for Trump, right? So we have lots of Trump loyalists in this election. We have lots of people that like Biden, but many of the Democrats are recognizing that he's not a very good candidate. Okay, so we have all these things happening, and on top of that, we have much more. This is just the beginning, guys. We have lots to show you today. Now, in the Iowa caucus yesterday, 2 days ago, Trump won, of course. Ron DeSantis got 21% of the votes. Nikki Haley with about 19%. I mean, it's obvious that we all knew Trump would win the Iowa caucus. It's mostly Republicans there, mostly uneducated people. And DeSantis drops out of the race. So now it's really basically Trump and Haley. DeSantis is left, and now he supports Trump. He's backing Trump now, like a slime ball he is. So we have Trump, Haley, and then Bankley. Nobody's going to vote for that guy. So out of these guys, I think Trump's obviously going to be the candidate. Now, Nikki Haley might survive on the campaign trail for another couple runs, another couple caucuses, maybe perhaps New Hampshire, she'll do about the same, 20%, and then South Carolina, she might get 30% because she used to be South Carolina governor. But after that, I think that she'll recognize that she's going to have to lead the race, and I think Trump will be the nominee. Like, we still have a lot of time left, guys. So we still have a lot of polls, a lot of numbers, a lot of caucuses, a lot of primaries. Now, this is where it starts to get very scary for Biden. Okay, so this is 2020. In 2020, Biden got 306 electoral votes, and Trump got 232. Now, in most of those blue states are consistently blue. They always vote blue almost every election. However, there's a couple changes this year. Okay, since last election, 2020, a lot of people from the North United States, have migrated towards the southern states, the Republican states. Florida, Texas, Arizona, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia. Okay. And what we're seeing now is, because electoral votes are dependent on the population and the districts and the populations, what we're seeing is more electoral votes in favor of Republican states now. So this is another curveball thrown in for the Biden campaign. Okay. This is not good. So if you look at the next slide here, look at this. Republicans have gained 3 electoral votes relative to Democrats losing 1. Okay. This is not a good sign. And the worst part about this is that in some of the key states, Republicans have gained a little bit. Now, this isn't a make it or break it necessarily, but it could be. And that's a scary part, right? If we had a strong Democratic candidate, this wouldn't matter, right? It wouldn't matter. 1 point, 2 points. But because we have Biden and because of last election, he won by such a small margin in these battleground states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, and Georgia. Those 4 states will make or break the election this time. In 2020, he barely squeezed by the win by less than 3 points. Okay. And like I said before, if you go back, Trump has gained more electoral votes, electoral power here in these red states where people are moving to. So now there's more Republican prominence in these southern states. Georgia is especially a very important one that Biden can't lose, in Pennsylvania. And the saddest part about this, guys, you ready for this? Trump is ahead in 5 of 6 of them. Trump is ahead in Nevada. He's ahead in Michigan. He's ahead in Georgia. He's ahead in Pennsylvania. And he's ahead in Arizona. Okay, he's just squeezing by in Wisconsin. But guys, this is bad. This is really bad news. Okay, we should be scared. Okay, Trump is losing in these key states that he desperately needs to win. If he doesn't win Michigan or Pennsylvania, he loses the election. It's that easy. Okay, those 2 states are the most important things, and he's down there. This is like a wake up alarm, guys. His approval rate's really low, 39%. Like, and now according to Donald Trump, his poll numbers, he's really remained stagnant. His favorability. But you might be thinking, Mike, this is scary, Mike. Maybe the polls are wrong, right? Maybe the polls are wrong, and it's possible, right? I don't want to be just completely negative or pessimistic about this, but there is a case that the polls are either misleading or they have bad data. They're not polling the right people, or there's not a big enough sample size, and that's a real possible explanation as to why the polls are like this. Also, to be optimistic, last year, November 2022, is when we had the midterms in America, and there was expected to be this red wave where the country would be turned red. Well, we didn't see that. The poll numbers were kind of off, and what we instead saw was a blue wave. Really, we saw lots of Democrats winning elections in the Congress and things like that. So there is a case for optimism here in the terms of, hey, maybe people that vote, and really what saved us during this time, during the midterms, were young people fighting against the Roe v. Wade thing, right? Young people were angry. They were like, hey, let's vote against this madness. They went to the polls. When young people go to the polls, Democrats win. So that's the point here. It's all up to the young people in America. That's really what is going to make the election happen here. And it's not looking good for Biden, because young people are not liking Biden right now. They're not necessarily going to go to Trump. So here in a second, I'll show you another good case for optimism here. I'll show you in a second. But the Republican side, we have Nikki Haley and Trump. Nikki Haley, like I said before, she's probably going to go away. She's probably going to drop out, soon after the February or March primary caucuses. But on the Democratic side, what people are severely underestimating are the Democratic nominees right next to Biden: Marianne Williamson and Phillips. Now, guys, we're 9 months from the election. Anything can happen, okay? Anything can happen. And I'll show you in a second why there's a good case to be optimistic here. What we're seeing is a lot of people are beginning to recognize that they actually exist. There's actually two alternatives to Biden. People are becoming, more aware of these guys. Look at this. Just 2 days ago, a New Hampshire poll came out showing Biden at 54% and Dean Phillips at 32%. That's, guys, that's big. Okay, this is big. And look at it. Just a month ago in December, he was at 17%. Now he's at 32%. That's a huge net gain in just a month. Okay, this is big. And Dean Phillips is not only growing in New Hampshire, but he's actually campaigning all the time. He actually is present on social media. He had an interview with Bill Maher and Elon Musk on Twitter, and he knows how to utilize social media. He's speaking out, and he's young. He's 55 years old, and he's a Democratic. He aligns almost with Biden in everything he voted for in Congress. He's a congressman. He has experience. People are listening to him. And on the issues, we'll talk about that later, but on the issues, he seems like a very good candidate. And more importantly, he knows how to win. Look at this. Look at his electoral history. Not only did he win, he won every election he was part of, okay? Including when there's an incumbent person that was Republican he was fighting against. He won against Republicans twice, okay? And that's a good sign that people like this guy. He's a very quiet person. He's not a very, but neither is Biden. Now, Marianne Williamson, if you guys haven't known, I've talked to her on Parker's Live. I didn't really like the questions, the answer she gave me to my questions, but this is what she posts. Just look at this. It's a psychological and emotional, not just a political battle with Donald Trump. We'll defeat him by being as bold in the direction of love and possibility as he is bold in the direction of fear. No, Marianne, this is not going to win you elections. No, we're 9 months away from the biggest election of our lives, and this is what you post? This is not how you defeat Trump. Trump's going to laugh at this. We need a strong person to defeat Trump. We need somebody strong. Like, how does nobody understand this? We can't have Trump win. We cannot have Trump win. We need somebody strong. And this, I'm sorry, Marianne, this is not going to win elections. Okay. Biden is 81 years old. Let's face it. We all know he's old. We all know he's not fit for presidency. It's obvious. He can't even speak properly, okay? I'm not here to say that Biden is a bad person because he's old, but what I'm saying is people are hungry for somebody new. We're hungry for somebody powerful in terms of intellect and in terms of agility and able to, be a president, able to speak for the American people, right? We want somebody who has energy. Biden does not have it, and everybody knows it. Okay, Biden is 81. Trump is also 77. These guys are old. If Biden gets reelected this next election, he's going to be 86 years old at the end of his term. 86 years old. Okay, who knows what could happen between now and then? What if he falls? Like, what if something like that happens? I mean, God forbid, but what if it does? I mean, like, people got to be concerned about this. There's no way that anybody's like, who cares? People are concerned about this, and people know that there's a problem here. 3/4 of Americans say that Biden's too old for a second term. Okay, we all know it. Americans know it. Okay, we're hungry for somebody new, and Dean Phillips looks like one of the strongest candidates. Trump has criminal charges on him, right? 91 criminal charges, each of which he could go to jail with. It's a very good possibility that Trump ends up in prison. I mean, it's not going to happen like that quick. It's probably going to take years. But these criminal charges are going to haunt him for the rest of up to the election, right? So anything can happen. The point is, we're far away enough from the election that anything can happen. Who knows? What if Trump does get convicted and before the election and ends up in prison? Now he could still be president, unfortunately, but that would change a lot about people's opinions, right? That would change a lot. That would throw a curveball into the election too. Or what if, Dean Phillips continues to grow in the election? What if this turns into 40, 50% in New Hampshire? Then from there's a catapult, right? People go, wait, there is another alternative to Biden. And younger people start, instead of looking for somebody else or just going, yeah, I'll vote for Biden because he's a Democrat, he's the lesser evil, maybe they'll vote for him. Maybe what we'll see is a cascade of momentum for him, where he just grows and grows and his campaign continues to grow and grow. He's wealthy enough to stay in the race. Also, now you might be saying, Mike, stop it. You're making Trump win because we're giving him too much attention and you're just taking away from Biden. How is this taking away from Biden? We're not even in the primaries yet, right? So the worst that can happen is that people vote for Dean Phillips before the primary, he loses, and then we just vote for Biden. Like, okay, there's nothing we can lose. There's nothing we have to lose by promoting Dean Phillips. As long as now, the only reason why it would harm anybody is if people just completely want Dean Phillips or Marianne Williamson, and then they just forget about Biden. That would be bad, of course, but that's not probably going to happen, right? Democrats typically are going to vote for the Democrat, especially if Biden is the nominee. So there's nothing to lose by promoting these other guys, these Marianne Williamson. Now, I will say that Marianne Williamson, I will probably not be voting for her. I think that Dean Phillips is of a better candidate to me. Now, I'm not going to say that he's perfect. No, he's not the perfect candidate. I think he's not progressive enough, but I think that he's one of the best candidates. And I would recommend you guys look into him more. He's for universal health care. He's for giving everybody when they're born $1,000 so that they can grow interest with. And by the time they're 18, which you can't touch that money until they're 18, they'll have $20,000 in their bank, which they can then use for whatever they want and learn how to invest and learn how to be economically sound. That's a good idea. That's kind of like Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang supports him as well. If you guys have been on my YouTube for these past 4 years, you guys will know I supported Andrew Yang. Now I voted for Biden last time and probably will again if he's the candidate. But the point is, guys, if we want Trump to lose, we have to do something. And I think promoting Dean Phillips is great because he's a great candidate. He can, I think, beat Trump. Biden is not looking like it. So please vote. Please learn about the candidates. Please pay attention to the election cycle. I'm going to have more videos like this coming up in the future as we get further and further closer to the election day. But yeah, we cannot let Trump win again. And I know it's early, but it's looking bad for Biden. Okay. And we cannot let Trump win. We just can't. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching and stay tuned for next time.